Happy to be here for the first time. Really excited. Golf course looks very difficult from what I've seen, and yeah, I just really look forward to being here and exploring, some of Delhi.
And you have some extended family in Delhi. How much have you wanted to come to India in the past and play here?
Yeah, definitely always been something I always wanted to do. It's a place that obviously means a lot to us. And yeah, just obviously be on the PGA Tour now and to be, Indian heritage and to compete and have a lot of fans based here is really cool.
And has it always been a goal of yours to take your golf game around the world and compete in different countries?
Definitely. I think it's a very cool thing for us to do. As a professional athlete, we play so much in the States, but anytime we do get to travel, I played the Hero in Dubai last year, which was amazing. And been to a couple of really cool places as a kid, but haven't gotten to explore too much since I've turned professional. So definitely cool to explore the world, and especially at a young age, it's a blessing for sure.
Your first sort of professional outing in India, this is the National Open, Euro National Open, you're a brand ambassador of the company. And coming off a big win at the API, by the way, congratulations on that. And nothing to do with the real question, but do you make it a habit of winning only in playoffs? Because PGA Tour wins all, you need to go that extra mile is to win. Anyway, just your thoughts on the event. And
yeah, obviously very happy to be here. Dr. Manjul's been amazing to us, to my family, and a great relationship that we've built over the last couple years since I turned pro. But yeah, I've watched so many highlights of this event, how hard the golf course is, 17 being a signature hole, and then obviously walking by 18 today, seeing that challenge, how far uphill it looks from the green up to the fairway. So again, very happy to be here. Excited for, I've already seen a couple kids come up to me, which is really cool. Didn't know that I'd ever get to experience this as a 24-year-old. So very blessed to be in this position to, play this tournament in the National Open. So.
Questions?
Hi, Akshay, welcome to India. If you are backing Shubhankar Sharma on Sunday, who is leading the Indian challenge, who do you think Indian fans will back? His Indian flag or your Indian roots?
That's a good one. I feel like we both have a pretty good following. Obviously, Shubhankar's had a great career. I've known him for a couple of years as well. So I think regardless of who is leading, it'd be, everyone would be rooting for all of us. So.
Yes, please.
What kind of route did you take from the US to India?
Yeah, we flew from Orlando, Florida to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to here. It's 19 hours.
Hi, actually, Hetal Gridal, Essentially Sports. First of all, welcome to Delhi. So I wanted to ask, you skipped college and you took a path straight to going pro. Is that correct? So can you walk us through that a little bit? Why did you make that decision?
I think as a kid, I always grew up knowing I wanted to play professional golf. And I think I was 10, 11 years old when I really knew I wanted to just play golf only. And my dad did a lot of things differently growing up. I played tour qualifiers when I was really young, US Open locals when I was 10, 11 years old. So we just did stuff differently. And I just slowly progressed to get better and better each year as a kid. And then by the time I was 17, I was playing really great compared to, older kids, that were in college. And for me, I felt like I would learn a lot more turning professional, learning from older people. Obviously, having an opportunity to play a couple of tour events as a kid was amazing. And I'm very happy that I made that decision because I felt like if I did go to college, I might have been playing against the same players that I was already kind of maybe a step ahead at the time. So I've learned a lot, traveling, learned from older people, guys who've won majors, and it's really helped me, I think, progress in my career faster.
One more question. You know, we already know Augusta's right around the corner. It's ahead of us, and already we have and you're here very far. And how your preparation for Augusta, and if not, what are you doing to make sure that it doesn't become a hurdle?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think obviously this was always going to be on my schedule. I knew it was going to be right before Augusta, and as long as I can get back on my sleep schedule when I get home, rest as much as I can. You know, Augusta's a long week, regardless of where you're at in the world, and so yeah, as long as I can just prepare my body and rest and recover after this trip, and hopefully have a great week, then you know, we'll see what happens.
Hi, Akshay Bhatia. I just wanted to know, have you kind of been through the history of the Indian Open here, especially at DLF, of course, how it's played out? It's thrown up some interesting, winners and some exciting finishes. So just your thoughts on that and about the course?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a bunch of highlights, especially coming over here. What a tough golf course it seems like. You know, last year having Eugenio finish under par, and then even par was maybe like 5th or 6th. And then the year before when, 20 under par won. So it's pretty interesting. Obviously seems conditions can change this golf course a lot. A lot of tough golf holes, it seems like. You have to be very strategic. And I think it's great. Just what a pretty golf course it looks like, you know, watching some of those highlights. And happy to be here. Excited to get on the golf course tomorrow with Dr. Manjal. Hopefully he can give me a couple pointers about the golf course. So.
Hi Akshay, Sports. Now that you are a hero ambassador, how has the experience been so far?
It's been amazing. Obviously coming here, going to Dubai, playing the World Challenge in the Bahamas. Yeah, super cool. I would have never got to experience this week, you know, being here, and to be an ambassador for, you know, someone who's had a great company for a long time, been a big part of golf for a long time. So it's one of my, you know, it's definitely bigger than just a partnership, definitely more of a relationship, friendship with Dr. Manjal, and I'm very blessed to represent him and his company.
Hi Akshay. So you are going to be playing Masters for the 3rd time. According to you, what's the toughest hole there and why?
Every hole is very tough. 5 is historically one of the hardest holes. 12 is a very tricky hole, and 18 is a very tough hole. A lot of tough shots. You just have to play great. So there's not many holes where you can kind of like lollygag around and walk down the fairway feeling like, okay, I have an opportunity here. But test your patience for sure out there.
So I have one more question. So you have been around Tiger Woods. Any quality of his that you have tried to incorporate in your game?
Honestly, we've built more of a friendship than I've asked him. I haven't asked him too many questions. I've asked him a little bit about some chipping stuff, but I think his interpretation of what he feels is very different than anyone else. That's why he's great. So the way he explains certain things, it just never makes sense in anyone else's head other than his.
Yes, please.
Akshay, my question from you, Simon from ANI. So you've got a very great playoff record, including a recent win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. So what do you think sets you apart mentally in these high-pressure, sudden-death situations like that?
I'm not too sure, honestly. I think my first win, you know, I finished before Patrick Rogers and made a putt to even have a chance, and then obviously a little fortunate there to win. Then the Valero Texas Open, I was leading by a ton, and then Denny McCarthy birdied 8 out of the last 9. And I think when he made his putt on 18, I had to make a putt to get into the playoff. And I think when I apply that pressure, making that putt, I think it takes some sort of wind out of their sails. But Arnold Palmer was an interesting one because I was never leading the golf tournament until 18, then we got into a playoff. But I think I just apply pressure consistently, and again, the cards have to fall my way. So it's part of it is luck, and part of it is the pressure that I was able to put on each of those players.
Just down the front.
Akshay spoke about Arnold Palmer. You had a sensational back nine, and at one point we were quite short. What kind of mindset do you need to put on such a charge? And what has it added to your own game now?
Yeah, I feel like I played the back nine with a little bit of frustration after missing a 2.5 footer on 9. And then I told my caddy, I was like, we shot 400 on the back 9 yesterday. Let's just try and do that again and just see where it takes us. And obviously, I just kind of was letting everything happen, hitting great golf shots. And I think it just proved that I can play with a ton of pressure. I mean, that day I felt like I was going to throw up the whole day because I obviously wanted to win so badly. And so it proved a lot to myself that I can handle that situation. And yeah, you just have to have an immense amount of focus in those situations, because one little hiccup like I had on 9 where it was a mental mistake can cost you, especially in big tournaments.
In the corner.
I don't know whether you watched any footage from Johannesburg, but John Ram and Bryson are coming into the Masters, and since we talk about the Masters, in very red hot form. So I mean, does that sort of amp up your competitive juices as well when you have these two great guys playing very good golf? We're going to be up against them in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's always great to see those guys again. John and I have a great relationship, and obviously he's been playing great, which is not a surprise. Bryson obviously winning the last couple weeks is not a surprise as well. So yeah, it's fun to compete against those guys when we can. And yeah, I look forward to kind of seeing everyone.
Yes, please.
Hi Akshay, this is Vanshi from Arnold Sports. So can you just tell us a little bit about your relationship with Sahith and who you're close to on the tour?
Yeah, Sahith and I have been very, very close since we got on tour. My wife, his fiance, are very, very close. We live 5 minutes from each other in Florida. So we spend a lot of time together, which is amazing. And he's just one of the best human beings on the PGA Tour. Guy that always smiles, good energy to be around. And yeah, we spend quite a bit of time when we can at home and play practice runs when we can. So we're always rooting for each other, which is awesome. It's hard to find people like that on the PGA Tour because it's an individual sport for the most part. But he's definitely been, a big brother to me. I've always admired a lot of things he's done, and always rooted him on. So
you got married last year. Congratulations on that. How would you say that that marriage has impacted your life, professional life?
Yeah, it's definitely been amazing. Presley and I have known each other for 5 years, so it was kind of a matter of time, but definitely through the process of planning the marriage, which I didn't do much of, getting all the families together, it was definitely a lot of extra things that we had to deal with during last year in the season. But once we got married, it was obviously one of the best days of my life. So it's definitely lighten the load a little bit because we have no more planning, and we can always kind of look back at those memories, and regardless of how our year's going or days are going, we know we have each other. So it's been amazing to kind of cherish those moments.
As you are someone with Indian heritage, do you have any upcoming plans to reconnect with your roots and spend some more time engaging with golf in India?
I absolutely would love to. I think with being here is a big step for me. So I'm very honored to be here. and again to represent Hero and Dr. Manjal, and definitely try and give back to the community for golf here. I know it's growing dramatically here, so that's really exciting for us. And yeah, hopefully I can come back more and more as much as I can when the the schedule's aligned. And I'm very happy to make this jump this week.